What is going on, guys? The Inside the Blue podcast, and today is the day we finally get to celebrate a Giants win as they defeat the Cleveland Browns 21-15. A close game at the Giants. I'm happy for this team, man. I'm really happy that they got this win. It's a winnable game, of course, on their schedule. Forget what happened in week 1. Forget what happened in week 2, losing to a field goal. Team looked much more prepared, much better in many ways. We lose the defense, the offense, Daniel Jones and Malik Nabers continuing to play good together. The offensive line looks good. A lot of good in this game. Not too much to be like, oh, a lot of panic. I guess your panic could definitely be towards the sophomore Deonte Banks. And I guess since we're getting into the defense, let's talk about the defense to start this podcast. Of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that like button and hit the comments of what your thoughts were of the game. But regardless, Giants are 1-2. They got a game upcoming against Dallas. Short week on Thursday. We'll have a preview and all that. But the defense, right? We're going to start with Deonte Banks. I'll get into Daniel Jones and all the other stuff after. Deonte Banks did not look good. And many Giants fans are probably claiming him as quote-unquote bust. Do I think he's a bust yet? No. I don't think he's a bust yet, but there were definitely many times where it's like, come on, man. But also, as good of as a game that Shane Bowen did call, it makes no sense of putting this man, Deonte Banks, on his own island, trying to defend a wide receiver that has great route running skills and is a good, skilled wide receiver, and we're putting him in coverage and not playing man-to-man on Coop. It is what it is. The game has passed, but it's only been a day. But regardless, what I'm saying is that I need to see Deonte Banks more in that man-to-man, right? When I saw this guy coming out of Maryland, he was a physical cornerback, and when you let this guy not be man-to-man, I don't know how his zone coverage is, and I don't know how that is. But I think if we see Deonte Banks play more man-to-man and he gets beat, sure. Definitely can even raise even more concerns on Deonte Banks. I'm not saying he had a good game at all. He did not. I think he allowed, 70 yards to Amari Cooper with 70 receptions and a touchdown to start off the game. And that's another thing about this Giants team. Don't even talk about the offense. The Giants team. Back-to-back weird starts and bad starts. Week 1 actually started off good, right? You got the fumble recovery. Week 2 starts off with a Austin Eckler kicking return touchdown that gets held back. And then week 3, Eric Gray fumbles the football, and Watson takes one play, throws a lob up to Amari Cooper and beats Deonte Banks in the end zone. So I think the first big thing is to getting off the better starts, right? Heading into week 4 against Dallas and heading into week 5, week 6, etc. Getting off the better starts is what this Giants team needs to do, because not every time you're going to be able to come back early. Like sometimes, with this Giants team, if Malik Nabers isn't the guy getting the football and it's not Wanda Robinson, who's really getting the football? Of course, Devin Singletary, he can run the football all he wants. But that's what I do worry about this offense. That's my only real worry is when Nabers, when they were triple teaming Nabers and all of this, who is Daniel Jones going to have to rely on? Is it Wanda Robinson? Is it Darius Slayton? It's obviously not Jalen Hyatt, because he doesn't play, unfortunately. And Devin Singletary runs the football mainly. But regardless of all that, getting off the better starts, because you don't want to be down 2 scores, because then the game might be over, right? At least for what I was watching, when I see Eric Gray fumble the football and a touchdown is right there 11 seconds into the football game, as a fan, you're like, here we go again. We might get blown out by Cleveland and get embarrassed. But the team showed some resiliency, and they played a good football game. Like, I was very, very impressed of that first half. It was probably the best first half we've seen in quite some time, maybe since the 2022 playoff game against the Vikings. That's my opinion. I have not seen the offensive line it played really good. We'll get into all the players, but Daniel Jones, the stats against the Browns were good. Like Washington were like, all right, bounce back. You played better than week 1. Week 3 was a really good game out of Daniel Jones. His QBR was a 72.4, and it's his second straight week that he's had a QBR of 60 plus and a passing rating of over 100. So, I mean, Daniel Jones has looked better, and we need that. And that's the big thing. Daniel Jones and his confidence, because week 1, when you play a game like that, confidence is low. Week 2, he plays better, but we know that we want more out of our $40 million QB. Week 3, he showed that he could put together a good game when he doesn't make those bad decisions, and he uses his head, runs when he has to, doesn't make that unnecessary throw. That's the big thing with Daniel Jones that I hate watching him about. He makes throws that he doesn't have to make, but regardless, his first half, you couldn't have asked for any better. 17-19, 178 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and at the half, we were up 21-7. If you told me that you knew what was going to happen after the first half, and the Giants were up 21-7, I think I'd call you ridiculous, and you don't know what you're talking about. But I mean, the team played a good football game. Like, I'm very happy with how they played heading into Dallas. We'll have a preview on Dallas, so I'm not really going to get into Dallas and what I want to see from them. No, this is about the Cleveland Browns and Daniel Jones and this Giants offense, because it was very solid. Now, if there's one wish that I have for the Giants offense, it's to get Jalen Hyatt involved. You pushed, you moved up in the draft for this guy. I understand Darius Slayton's at number 3. But why not give the kid a chance? Why not give Jalen Hyatt a chance before he gets impatient to the point where he doesn't want to be here anymore? Now, I think I said it last time, I don't think Slayton's in the long-term plan, so I'm not too worried about Hyatt, but I think that's kind of what we mainly talked about in the Week 3 preview, is to get Jalen Hyatt involved and get him going, because Jalen Hyatt's a very solid deep threat, and I know that's kind of what they use with Slayton and all that, and Neighbors is, that guy that are, quick slants, all that type of stuff, mesh, whatever the concept is. But I mean, Daniel Jones overall, 24 of 34, 70.6% completion, 236 yards, no interceptions. He got one called back, thankfully. 2 touchdowns and a 109, passing rating. Can we see something like that against Dallas? That's the last time I'm mentioning Dallas, but let's hope he plays a good game against Dallas. Offensive line talk. As much as I love Andrew Thomas, probably the worst game he's played since his rookie year against the Cardinals. 3 hits, 5 hurries, and 8 pressures allowed. 42 overall, 14.7 pass and block grade. With Andrew Thomas, right, he's taking on Myles Garrett. So I totally understand. We're like, Vin. He was taking on Myles Garrett, one of the best pass rushers, defensive player of the year. I get that. But we also view Andrew Thomas as a top 5 tackle in the league. So to see that, not great. But, they got the win. I'm not complaining at all. If anyone's wondering, Vin, stop complaining, all this now. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying how Andrew Thomas played. John Runyon, 2 pressures allowed. JMS, 1 QB hit, and 2 pressures allowed. Good in the run game. 73.0 run block for JMS. Greg Van Roten, 1 pressure allowed, was pretty average in both 56.2 run block and 73.3 pass block. Luminor, 4 pressures allowed, 1 QB hit. So they allowed 17 total pressures in the game, but no sacks. Like that is big, because of the fact that last year it was a crap show. It's like every other play, Daniel Jones is going to the pocket, sacked. Nothing's getting developed. No plays can be made unless it's a check down. All of that. It looked like Daniel Jones has been much more comfortable in the pocket. He's trusting the pocket now. He realizes that, hey, I have time to actually, sling the football now. It's a miracle. It's a miracle that it took this long in year number 6 that Daniel Jones gets an offensive line and a wide receiver 1. Andrew Thomas as well. I'm not trying to absolutely destroy Andrew Thomas here. I'm just reading off stats. All right. Andrew Thomas's worst game in pass pro prior to yesterday was his rookie as a rookie in week 14, 21.4 pass pro grade. Yesterday against Myles Garrett, he received a 14.7. Regardless, not worried with Andrew Thomas. It's not like, oh no, left side, it's whatever. All right, Andrew Thomas had a poor game. It is what it is. He's been good. He's been good regardless this year. Getting into our next thing, let's talk about this defense, man. Let's talk about this defense and what Shane Bowen created. Well, first off, Brian Burns got his first sack that led to points. Right, he got the strip sack. It was awesome. Need more of that out of Brian Burns. We got it. So if this is what's trending in the right direction of this pass rush, it could be solid. It could be very solid. I think those first 2 weeks were like, okay, got to really understand this Shane Bowen scheme of what we're trying to do. And 8 sacks. 8 sacks on Deshaun Watson. Their center was terrible. The Browns one. He allows the most pressures. Dexter Lawrence absolutely cooked him and was always getting to Deshaun Watson. 8 sacks and 36 pressures, man. That's awesome. That's fun football. That's what we've been praying for, a pass rush that gets to the quarterback. It finally happened. We finally have guys that can make plays. Azeez was good. Everybody was better than week 2. Probably aside from Deonte Banks and maybe Cordell Flott. But the D-line showed up. The defense showed up. It was awesome. Dexter Lawrence was unblockable. Azeez was good. Browns were reduced to a quick game. And Deshaun Watson is not a good QB. We know that. He's not good. He is terrible. He's overpaid. And he paid a price. We're going to pressure the crap out of you. We're going to send blitzes left and right. And Shane Bowen isn't always a guy that, all right, we're going to blitz the crap out of you. We're going to send pressure after pressure. And you're not going to be able to make any moves. It worked out. And I know I was pretty critical of Shane Bowen in week 2. Bounce back week. Good work from Shane Bowen. Good work from Brian Dable. Good work all around. I mean, it's a solid win. And another thing, too, that I really did like about this offense is the Browns is not some bad defense. They have guys that can play, like Myles Garrett. Their rookie from a few seasons ago went to Notre Dame. I think it's Jeremiah Oko, whatever his name is. He's good. Denzel Ward's good. They have players that can play on this defense. And the Giants' offensive line was good despite allowing us 17 pressures. That's good stuff. That's what we're looking for, man. We like to see that out of the team. We're 14 minutes into this, and we haven't even discussed Malik Neighbors. Come on. How about Malik Neighbors showing up in big moments? More touchdowns. More flashy plays. Awesome stuff from the man. Drafted him at number 6, and he's been nothing but awesome. Giants have a superstar in the making. I said I wanted him in the draft. All those mock drafts. Malik Neighbors. He's a stud. He makes plays, and he gets 5-yard receptions, turns them into 15 yards, or he'll moss you. He was awesome. He's helping out Daniel Jones too a lot. I won't lie. But still, it's fun that Daniel Jones is a guy to rely on. Any great offense has a wide receiver one. Okay? The Chiefs, Rashee Rice, the Lions, Amon-Ra. Okay? I could keep going. Like Dallas, CeeDee Lamb. And then when you get even more weapons, like a wide receiver too, like Philadelphia with Devontae Smith, that helps your quarterback significantly. And Daniel Jones finally has that. He's not throwing to Kenny Golladay. He's not throwing to Darius Slayton. He's throwing to Malik freaking Neighbors. And the guy's a stud. We'll get some stats for you just in a moment. So, he has the most catches of 20-plus yards with 6. Malik Neighbors against the Browns, 8 catches, 78 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's 23rd. He's got 23 receptions. That's second. He's got 271 yards. That's fifth. He's got 3 touchdowns. That's tied for first now, I believe. He's got 20-plus catches, 20-plus yard catches, and yards after catch, he's 7th. And I guess going through all the LSU boys, Ja'Marr Chase, first 3 NFL games, 11 catches, 220 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson through his first 3 NFL games in the NFL. 12 catches, 245 yards, and a touchdown. Malik Neighbors, 23 catches, 271 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Those are great numbers from Malik. Like another thing with Malik Neighbors that I just love is Daniel Jones could throw an absolutely terrible ball. It's going up here. It's going up here. Still grabs it. Goes for yards. Does his little dance. He's having fun. Like, this is an OBJ 2.0, but even better. This guy might be the most talented offensive weapon we've seen from as a Giant in decades. Is that hard to say? Highest graded Giants in week 3, Brian Burns. Come on. 89.7. Dexter Lawrence, 87.5. Malik Neighbors, 83.8. Micah McFadden, 82.3. A guy who's been struggling through injuries, still playing through it. Jason Pinnock, 82.2. Getting sacks, leads the team in sacks. He's coming out of nowhere. This win was so much fun because we needed to win this game. If you're going 0-3 heading into Dallas, or heading against Dallas, I think they're actually home for this game, it's much different. You're both 1-2. And this, I guess, I said it earlier in the pod that we're not going to talk about Dallas. We're going to talk about a little bit of Dallas. Just the fact that this team is beatable. We've seen teams just run them up on the offense. Their defense has been soft. Malik Neighbors should run over him. I want to see Jalen Hyatt. I want to see Tyron Tracy. I want to see some dogs. But getting into the positives and negatives to kind of wrap it up. Of course, got to start with Malik Neighbors. He drops the ball in week 2 against Washington. Has a great bounce back performance. Jones showed great strides. Throwing the football very well. Very efficient. No turnovers. Back-to-back weeks. Brian Burns in the defense was awesome. 8 sacks. Tons of pressures left and right. Bullying the offensive line. Dexter Lawrence continues to show why he is the best defensive tackle. I'm saying it right now. Bowen calls a great game. Only concern is with Deonte Banks. And Brian Dable. Brian Dable calls a great game. made Daniel Jones' job simple. It's so much easier with an offensive line that blocks. So much easier. And to wrap it up, what a fun win. I was so happy. I'm getting up out of my chair. Let's go. Great first half. Got a little sketchy at the end, but they pulled through. That's a win. Teams find ways to win, and they hold on to them. Now, I know people are going to say, I haven't seen it much. I may have saw one tweet on Twitter that like is Malik Neighbors going to save Daniel Jones' job and Daniel Jones is going to be the guy for numerous years. I'm not sure. I'm not ready to answer that question yet, but I did see it on Twitter, and I thought I'd mention it because it is something to mention. I guess the negatives: Deonte Banks was bad. No Jalen Hyatt targets. Slayton left the game, but it seems like Hyatt's that fourth guy, and we're gonna have to accept it. And a short week to take on Dallas. Not much rest. Taking them on Thursday. That game has a lot of nice headlines, right? Dallas struggled to put up points, and then they put up points late against Baltimore. The defenses looked very skeptical. They couldn't stop Derrick Henry, so I expect them to run the rock against him. But I guess to wrap it up, a great win for the Giants. Super happy for them. Super happy for Brian Daboll. And the team got it done in a very good way. Spread the football out. Theo Johnson had a nice catch. Tyron Tracy's slowly getting better. Linebackers look great. Had some pass rush this week. Waiting for that Thibs sack. Waiting for just an absolute dogfight on Thursday. But anyways, guys, of course, hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. And, of course, smash that like button. And let's go Giants. Peace.